Welcome to Shift, an exclusive podcast by DSN. I'm your host, Blake Mallon, and this is where high-performing entrepreneurs and experts share their most powerful shifts in mindset, skill set, and strategy to help you accelerate your business and amplify your impact. I challenge you to be present, open your mind, and let the shift begin.
Welcome to a special episode of Shift today, as we begin a series for the next few weeks highlighting some of the best tips and strategies given by our guests in previous episodes. As many of you already know, our host and creator of DSN Shift podcast, Blake Mallon, and his family are one of many families in California who have been devastated by the wildfires. On January 8th, the Palisades fire claimed Blake's home after an extraordinary fight to save it. We're thankful the Mallon family is safe, but the work and attention required to deal with such a circumstance is overwhelming, to say the least. We urge you to follow Blake on Instagram as he continues to post updates on his family's journey through this process, and to learn about ways you can support his family and many others going through the same tragedy. Our thoughts and prayers are certainly with them all. So, for the next several weeks, we want to bring some of the best snippets and sound bites from Shift, focusing on a specific topic in each episode. In the future, we'll cover things like social media and the power of communities. But in this episode, we're focused on mindset, highlighting some of the most inspiring voices in our channel. So lock in and open your mind as we hear from Gloria Mayfield Banks, Jessica Loftus, Richard Bliss Brooke, Jennifer Jones, Ada Caballero, and John Tsai. And let's start with Gloria Mayfield Banks as she shares strategies for conquering limiting beliefs.
Direct question for you, Gloria. Do you think anyone and everyone can really become an entrepreneur if they want? And then what limiting beliefs do you see get in the way of people making that leap for themselves?
Limiting beliefs. Everybody has it.
Mm-hmm.
Probably 2 or 3 people I know who don't have limiting belief, but the majority of us have limiting beliefs at some path, because there's always people who are bigger, who have done more. You know, I'm not Jeff Bezos, It's just there are people that have done bigger things than me. So I think we all have them, but the characteristic you're looking for is, how do you let your limiting belief stop you?
Okay.
How do you stop it from letting your courage muscle be strong?
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to have courage to create confidence, and confidence increase will give you better choices. So I think that if you put yourself in the right environment, that's why I tell people, put your body in the place and the space where it can be shifted. And that's why I've always thought events were important, and being around people who believe bigger than you and see bigger than you. It's your responsibility to know that you have to get there, because by yourself, you cannot grow your limiting beliefs. You have to borrow other people's belief until you have it inside yourself. And so I think that, can everybody be an entrepreneur? My answer to that is, it depends on how hard they're willing to change and try. I don't think change necessarily is hard. I think that they haven't looked hard enough at why they want to do something. We do a lot of things in our lives that are hard, but we don't dwell on that because we want the results so much. What's difficult becomes easy. I always tell the story. If your girlfriend calls you up and she says, "Girl, I am getting married and I want you to be in my wedding," you're like, "Oh, I am not going to be the overweight lover in the house." Okay. So all of a sudden, Snickers doesn't taste good. Ice cream doesn't taste good. Beach cobbler is not on your list anymore. You don't want those desserts. And yesterday, you just had to have it. You deserved it. I want it. Today, it is not even a part of your reality. So if you find the motivation, because people ask me sometimes, "Gloria, what's more important? Is motivation more important, or is discipline more important?" I personally think motivation is more important, because motivation will get you on the grind where discipline starts to sit in. But you can't get it going until you're truly motivated to do that. So can anybody be an entrepreneur? I really do believe that many people can be an entrepreneur. They're small, there's medium, and there's large. And a lot of it is determined by how much they're willing to learn, change, and grow.
So powerful. And I'm smiling as you talk about motivation, right? And I
Yeah.
know you've been asked this a million times because I get asked this all the time. So I'm curious your answer to this, right? So let's
Okay.
say someone's listening, they're like, okay, well, I might want to be an entrepreneur. I want a path to that shifted perception around money and time freedom. I want to go to safari for the 7th time, right, with
Yeah.
my family and friends and give
Yeah.
more. But
Yeah.
but then there's always the question. The question always is, but Gloria, how do you stay motivated for so long? How do you get that motivation to have that courage? What's your answer when someone asks you that question of how you maintain that level of motivation?
Like, you're just good at this. I just want to let you know that you're really good at this. I think that the reason people lose their motivation is because they're not willing to pick a right now passionate goal. I think there's so much inside a right now passionate goal, not something that you're going to achieve in 3 years or 5 years, but can you get passionate about what's right in front of you? Can you get passionate about what's important for the next step? When you can learn to win and celebrate
I love that.
yourself and others in the next win, you don't get confused. Passion erases distractions.
Wow.
And we've seen it so many times where when you want to win something that you're passionate about, and it's not just winning. I tell people, if you have movers, we've all moved at one time. When you have the movers coming on May 1st and it's April 25th, you don't feel like it. You go to bed. I don't feel like packing. I don't feel like it's the 26th. It's going to happen. I don't feel like on the 30th, you are up all night. You don't get tired. You don't think about you're not seeing your friends. You don't even want to eat. You're so busy packing, because the goal of the drivers showing up on May 1st erases any distraction of anything that might have stopped you before. You can find boxes at 2:00 in the morning if you need them bad enough. We've all been college students. You can find what you need. So if you ask me what stops people from being motivated, is they don't understand the magnitude of picking what's next.
Here's Jessica Loftus highlighting the importance of authenticity and vulnerability.
The buzzword over the last couple years has been authenticity, showing up authentic. And, I smile because I'm curious, what does that mean to you? And do you think these are like connected? Do you think going through the stuff, doing the work, these experiences, is that help you show up authentically? And what advice do you have when you're coaching your team kind of on this topic?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because that really helps shape us who we are, through our experiences and things like that. And then being able to put that out there. Some people don't feel comfortable talking about the fact that they struggled, and it's wild to me. And I understand that it can, trust me, I didn't like to admit that I crashed my business one time, and that I lost focus on the sight of what was right and what I should have been focusing on. My mind went down a money driven path, a transactional path. And you cannot have a transactional mindset in this business, or if you want to help people and still have success, right? Because that's always going to come out. And so I had to be knocked down off my high horse for a quick minute, right? To reset and realize like what was actually important. And those things, and admitting that and being vulnerable about the fact I didn't like to tell people that I had eating disorders or that I struggled with postpartum depression when it's supposed to be one of the happiest moments of your life. Like those aren't fun things to tell people, but so many of us are struggling. We are all in pain in some reason or why. That's why a lot of us start direct sales is because of a pain point, right? And to be able to put that out there and let people know who you are and what you've been through, it just makes that connection so much deeper. And that's really what being authentic is all about, and you shouldn't be afraid to show your true colors, right? And who you are, right? And I feel like people can sense that now more than ever. And if you're putting out your experiences and the way, what you believe, you're just going to attract the same kinds of people into your business even, and, or a following or whatever the case may be. You can connect with more people and serve more people that way. And I think it's just, sometimes on social media, everybody likes to put that highlight reel out there, and we just think that that's normal. And it starts to make people feel really bad about where they're at in life. And for you to come in there and say, hey, sis, I am on the struggle bus with you. I have been there. They're gonna like that. They're gonna like it. There's gonna find a sense of comfort, and they're gonna start to trust you. And just being authentic is honestly the way to go, in my opinion. And you should never be afraid to admit with who you are and where you've been, because it's who you are.
So put on your coach hat. So Jessica, coach hat now. Let's say there's someone in your organization, someone that's maybe new to the industry, and we've all been through stuff. We've all been through stuff, different stories, different journeys, but we've all been through stuff. And let's say a person just, for whatever reason, isn't ready to share yet. Like, it's still the perfect feed. It's still maybe a little guilt or shame with the stuff that they went through. But that them getting in touch with that is going to help them show up authentically, create that attraction. What coaching do you give a person in that moment that maybe still has the filter on, right? Still has the mask on how they can show up more authentically them?
A lot of times in those situations, I always ask them, why did you join? Why did you say yes? And a lot of the times they'll say you said this, or my friend was getting results and I saw how much they struggled or whatever. I just start saying, you could be that person for somebody else, and we just have to become fearless. Like, what are you afraid of? Are you afraid of what people are going to think of you? Why? What if this could be the thing that changes your life, and then not only changes your life, but someone else's life? That's what's weighing on this, and at the end of the day, until you decide to start becoming vulnerable, and really just take off that cloak you put over yourself and realize that it's okay to not be perfect. And that's how we connect with people. And that's even probably why you said yes. That's when you're going to uncover your success. So whenever you're ready to do that, that's when you're ready to start having success and making a transition in your business. And I know that kind of sounds a little harsh, but sometimes it's just putting the ball in somebody else's court. It's like, hey, it's up to you. Right. And just putting it into perspective for them. Why did you say yes? Is it because I was vulnerable? Is it because it was your friend was somebody was vulnerable, that made you decide that this is what you wanted to do?
Yep.
You got to put yourself in those shoes.
And now Richard Bliss Brooke discusses how to turn adversity into opportunity.
In order for us in network marketing and almost anything else, for us to build what we maybe dream of building, we have to step into the best and most leadership of ourselves that we can step into. We have to become the leader. Doesn't mean we can't still follow leaders. Leaders are followers, but they're also always upping their game in their own level of leadership. And that's critically important for the leadership above you that you're relying on. They need you to step up, because if you don't step up, you wear them out, right? Because now they end up, instead of empowering you to duplicate and become like them, they're enabling you to stay small and stay weak. And so I encourage you, step up your leadership. I know you've done it in other places in your life where you felt confident, where you felt comfortable, and you also had the need or the want. You leaned in or jumped in and you led. And I encourage people to do that here. And I encourage you, if you are a leader, give people an opportunity to step into their own leadership, which requires that you give them an opportunity to fail. You got to give them an assignment, give them an opportunity, give them responsibility, give them something where you are then gone and they get to figure it out or not. That's just critically important in network marketing, because the size of a team, every leader can only influence so many people. So if you want to build a team of 50,000 people, you need 50 leaders, at least 50 leaders in that team, because you can't lead 50,000 people. You can't have that kind of impact with them. So leadership development is huge. And in that journey, you're going to have all kinds of adversity. This is a place where leaders get an opportunity to step up, to invent their leadership, to grab that next rung in the ladder is when adversity hits. And adversity will hit. There is no beautiful, perfect journey. Blake, I remember watching you're like a bottle rocket that kept blowing up, right? This stage 1 would take you to the stratosphere and then everything would blow up. And then stage 2 and, it doesn't go like this.
Mm-hmm.
It goes like this. And if you stay engaged, if you stay optimistic, if you stay looking for the good and the opportunity, you start here, but you end up here.
Mm-hmm.
The journey may look super messy, but like on my website, I have a picture of my house at the chicken plant.
I love that.
There's bushes growing out of the windows. It's abandoned. It's not even there anymore. I took it 4 or 5 years ago. I paid $11,000 for that house.
Uh-huh.
That's where I started. I look out my back door and I'm looking at 200 degrees of ocean. I could hit a 9-iron into the water.
Uh-huh.
So that's point A, point B, and I'm not done yet, right? That's just, but in between, so many train wrecks, blow ups. But here's the thing you have to lean into if you're going to make it, folks.
Mm-hmm.
You have to see every adversity as the seed of equal or greater benefit opportunity. You have to find the gold in there. It's there all the time. So my mentor, Kurt Robb, he died at a tragic time where I felt like I needed him. Oh my gosh, how I stepped up in that moment, I don't know. But the payoffs for stepping up, they weren't tenfold. They were 1,000-fold. So every time something happens, and here's what'll happen. Your comp plan will get screwed up. Your product shipments will get screwed up. Your leaders above you will quit and they'll go and join some new thing. Your company might go out of business. All this stuff happens. This is all part of the game. And every one of them is a test. And it is a test to see, do you deserve the vision that you hold? Do you deserve the abundance that you seek? Are you willing to overcome, to figure out a way through it, over it, around it, under it, reinvent it, figure it out, whatever it is? Or do you let it get to you, right? It's not what happens to us in life. We've all heard this cliche a million times. It's how we respond. So in network marketing, somebody says no. What do you do with that? Like, do you crumble? Do you cry? Do you stop? Do you fall? Or do you learn from it? Do you see it as an opportunity to ask somebody else and ask somebody else and ask somebody else? One of the classic things, I think you know this, Blake, that knocks probably 90% of the people out of the business that could go on to have extraordinary incomes and careers in network marketing is they have a story that the more people who say no, the more likely it is the next person is going to say no, the more likely it is it's not going to work. And every network marketer that's ever made it has a different story.
Mm-hmm.
The more people who say no, the closer I am to a yes. I use a giant deck of cards.
That's literally a giant deck of cards.
It's a giant deck of cards. Shuffle the cards up. How many aces are in the deck?
Yep, 4.
4. We all know there's 4. Would you bet your house there's 4 as long as it's not a trick deck?
Yeah.
It's 4. A real deck, solid poker deck. You bet your house there's 4. Well, you and I know if we go ask 52 people to take a look at this, it's going to be more than 4 that say yes, but at least 4. What you get paid for is learning from the no's, bouncing from the no's. If you succumb to the no's, the universe is saying you don't deserve the abundance that's available here.
Jennifer Jones offers tips on staying resilient and focused in challenging situations.
I have to give credit where credit's due. I believe it was the great Zig Ziglar, one of my most favorite mentors that I never got to meet, who had this idea of the Teflon suit. And I take this back to being bullied as a kid. I would wish being bullied on nobody, okay? But it worked out really well for me because I was bullied horribly in elementary school. I still don't know exactly why, but I would like hide in the corner when these bullies were threatening to kill me or throw me in the garbage can or whatever. And I would just be like, I can't hear them. I can't see them. I can't hear them and I can't see them. Or I would be on the bus and I had to ride the bus. My mom was at work. She couldn't pick me up, right? And every day getting on the bus, I was like, is today the day they're going to like do something completely humiliating to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these kids would like spit on me. And, this is the 80s, the bus driver, she's smoking a cig. She doesn't care. So I would just be like, I can't hear them. I can't see them. I'm going to get home and I'm going to watch The Simpsons. I can't hear them and I can't see them. And I have carried that through my entire life. And so I always tell my team, you have to pull the Teflon suit up every day. You pull it up to your neck and everything just rolls off it like water on a duck's back. All the side eyes, the family talking about you, social media haters that truly fuel me. Anyone in your business, it's like, oh, she's doing one of those things or he's doing one of those things. It all just falls away and you don't absorb it.
For someone that doesn't have that natural Teflon suit, for someone that the words hurt, right? What specifically can they do or advice can you give for someone to start to develop this kind of Teflon?
It is a practice. It's a muscle. Just like when you get on the treadmill or you go out for your walk, this is something you have to practice every single day and you will get better at it. But there's a mantra that I have that if it doesn't make me happy, it doesn't make me better, it doesn't make me money, I don't make time for it. And I credit a lot of that. I'm sure she didn't invent it, but Robin Arzon is one of my favorite Peloton instructors, one of my favorite people in the world, one of my favorite mindset coaches that exists. I was lucky enough to meet her at my company's conference a few years ago and tell her in person how much she's impacted me. So that's what I tell them. If they're not impacting your bank account or your well-being or your happiness, you do not make time for them. And I think a lot of that comes from outside of the business, outside of network marketing, getting those toxic people out of your life. And they may be in your house. They may be part of your family. They may be part of your circle. So if you can't physically remove them, which sometimes you can't, you have to mentally remove them. And it takes rehearsal. It's practice. It took me years to not get in my car and cry after a bad day selling. Nobody bought my product that day. Oh, it must be me. It must be me. And that led me to find that it's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. And if you're consistent with this practice of rehearsing the mindset to get out of your own way and focus on the outcome, if you do that every single day and you show up for your business, no matter what your business is, it could be a relationship. It could be, something you're trying to fix in your life. If you're showing up for that consistently every single day, you could physically move mountains with the mindset shifts and the changes and the ways to almost self-protect yourself from feeling those ugly, uncomfortable. And sometimes it's just an aura. People have an aura, right? And you just know, you don't know exactly, but that they're talking smack, they're rolling their eyes, they're telling people not to buy from you. Oh, you can get that cheaper at Target, something that you can get that at Walmart, blah, 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 blah. You can hear it and feel it, but you don't absorb it. And it just takes those things, not making me money, not making me happy, not making me better. And I heard on your podcast a while back, someone talking about doing, this was so freaking genius. And I hope you can give the guest credit. She said, you need to put 2 columns. And on this column, on the left side, people that are raising me up, supporting me, helping me, doesn't have to be in business, in life, in family, in relationships, at work, whatever. And then on this side, which is the more obvious column, the people that are holding you back, that are keeping you small, that are telling you, stay safe. Everything's good enough. Your relationship is good enough. Your income is good enough. Your job's good enough. Your car, whatever. Put them in this side. And then you consciously spend time with the people in this column. And then you consciously, it has to be conscious, remove or distance yourself from the people on this side. I listened to this podcast last week. I did it. I put it into practice and I'm already feeling lighter. So that might be something that your guests can do too. In addition to just practicing and staying focused on the end game, the end goal is make that list. Who is helping, who is hurting, and start making some changes and auditing. That's what she did. It was an audit of her circle. That's what it was. Yeah.
Well, JJ, I'm just excited that we're talking about this openly and you're willing to share your experience and what's worked, because we all know, and everybody listening, if we all were honest with ourselves, so often, right, as much as we've heard this, right, as much as we've worked on it, the opinions of others affect us. And that's one of the biggest things that keeps people from moving forward. And JJ, I'm writing notes fast as you're talking, because I love how every question I kind of ask, you first go to the mindset, right? You called it a mantra. And I love that, right? I can't see them. I can't hear them. I can't see them. I can't hear them. If it's not, I think, making me money, right, happy or better, I don't have energy for it. Like, it starts with that shift in mindset. I love what you're just saying, kind of the power of your peer group, choosing your circle, doing that audit and removing to the extent we can, right, the people that are dumping on us. I also, when you said the Teflon suit, like, I saw the way you described it. Are you are you visualizing literally like you're putting on a Teflon suit? Like, that's a visual in your brain?
So for women, imagine putting on a full body Spanx, like a full body Spanx. Now for men, you might envision putting on like a Superman costume or a superhero suit. And women, you can too, but any woman knows what it feels like to put on like pantyhose or Spanx. And it just kind of like, shh. And then it truly is. You become resilient.
Ada Caballero inspires with lessons on shifting perspectives to achieve success.
And I remember when Arman told me, Ada, can you come with me? I want to buy a table for a meeting. And I said, yes. And I was in the furniture store, and he asked me, what living room do you like it? And I say, no, it's too modern. And he told me, you like what I want. Come with me. And I show you a place with the designer. And when I go there and I see the furniture and I see everything, oh my guys, open, and I say, oh, so beautiful. And girls, when I love something, suddenly you go to see the price. And I remember one lamp, $26,000.
Uh-huh.
In that moment, I say my face like this. And I say, $26,000. Arman, this is too expensive. And I see the eyes of Arman. And he showed me, and he said, Ada, take away 10. How much is this? And I say, 2,600. You buy it? I say, no. For one lamp? No. Take another 0. 260. 261 lamp. And I said, And he said, take another 0. $26. I buy 2. Very, very happy. And he told me, this is your hype inside mind. That's why the money don't go with you. That's why I understand now what Arman tried to tell me. In that moment, $26,000 is too much for me. Now the money come because my mindset changed. And now I think I deserve it. I'm working for them. And I start to believe if people say no. Until you say, yes, I am. Yes, I do. Yes, I can. Yes, I deserve. Then change everything.
It's such a powerful story, and I absolutely love it, and I appreciate you sharing it with such passion and energy. It's a beautiful story. I'm curious because you're really touching on something that I think everybody can relate with, and that's the limiting beliefs, right, or the script that we have or we're operating with every day. And it may not be lamps for everybody and our listeners out there, right? It might not be the $26,000 lamp or the $26 lamp. But we all have the limiting lamp beliefs, right? We all have something where, like you're saying, we believe we don't deserve it. What coaching do you give, right? If we have someone in your team or your community or a listener out there that right now, like, they want a bigger life, right? They hear your story, they're inspired. But the minute they think about it, they do have that self-doubt, right? They do have that limiting belief. They do have that lack of confidence. What advice do you give to those people on how they can get better at overcoming, right, their own limiting lamp beliefs that they're facing today?
If you start to make your dreams, take pictures, even though you don't think I can afford, because dreaming is free. They don't charge for dreaming. So start to carrying maybe clothes, maybe places, maybe the house of the dream, and make you bored. And every day when you wake up, see the drop, and you see and believe it. And working for a small codes, small challengers, small, until you go by one, you faith in you start growing and start growing and start growing. It's not growing right away, because when I say looks very faster, but no, I find challengers. That was the mentor is there for hold your hand and say, you can do it. Do this, do that. I happen. I am feel the same. I feel like I can do it. I feel it's too hard. I feel it's not possible, but it's possible. You have to believe. That's why it's the mentor there. But also the most important is make small challengers to you, week, daily, monthly, yearly, and when you accomplish, you faith going stronger and stronger and stronger. So that is my best advice to you. If you start in this business, I told you it's not hard, but it's not easy. Everything depends on what you want. All people is emotional. And when you start to thinking, you say, oh, it's easy. But when you go outside and find no thanks, no, your emotion go down. Please remember this is part our job. Yes and no. If you find no's and no's and no's, you are in the right path.
Here, John Tsai provides practical advice on daily disciplines that fuel lasting momentum.
When it comes to just like daily disciplines, do you have like a certain like daily disciplines or daily habits or things that you would say, these are the things that matter most for you to get where you are, to stay where you are, to keep going where you're going? What would those look like for you?
So my daily disciplines really are surrounded by mindset. I need to have discipline around my mindset work, because 95% of the time, it's all about mindset. This is what I believe. Tony Robbins says it's 80-20. I believe it's 95-5. 95% up here and 5% is what you say, how you say it, and what you do, right? So I wake up at 4:30 in the morning every single day. I make sure that I meditate first thing. Second thing, I do some affirmations. I'm the best. I'm a winner. I'm a goal achiever, right? And third thing is I'm going to visualize my outcome, visualize my success, visualize me working hard on my goals. Next is exercise. I go to the gym for about an hour and a half every single day, stretching 45 minutes, lift 45 minutes, come home. And then I read 10 pages of a book, right? Every single day. I don't miss. You think about it. 10 pages of book is 3,650 pages a year. That's 12 to 15 books. Can you imagine how smart and how competent you'll be if you just did that? Next is journaling. I get really crazy up in my head. And my mentor, Mike Ferry, he'd always tell me, John, if you get too crazy in your head, you got to put it down on paper. So I journal every single day. So this is what we call the savers. And I didn't make this up. I'm not that smart. Go read the book Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. Savers: silence, affirmation, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing. So if I just do that, I know I win the day. And then the next is my business. Okay, if I just do something that moves the conversation forward, if you're a real estate salesperson, you got to talk to people, go on appointments, go out and take listings, do buyers, and negotiate contracts. Therefore, you make money. That's all you got to do as a real estate salesperson. I'm sure a distributor and in the network marketing industry, the same. talk to people, go on appointments, close sales, correct?
Same.
That's it.
I love that. And so simple, right? I mean, but those habits consistently over time win, right? They win. You've given us a couple books, John, that I'm writing down as we go. Is there any other books top of mind that are like must reads for everybody in this channel that you say like, hey, this is the short list? Just curious.
So if you want to go the beast mode way, you read a lot of Eric Thomas or, David Goggins, Can't Hurt Me, Never Finished, or Tim Grover's Relentless and Winning. If you want to go like, I'm never going to quit, this is my mindset, boom, you go here. And the other portion is Deepak Chopra, 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, right? And or Ryan Holiday, Stoicism, all those books, right? So you got to have a balance of the two. Some days you feel like going beast mode. Some days you just feel like, So you got to have both.
I love it. Some good ones. I think I've read most of those. Those are some good ones. So hope you guys heard that. Write those things down. He's giving you gold, right? I mean, this is it. I've never done the math on 10 pages a day, but that's amazing. 10 pages a day. Everybody can do 10 pages a day.
Absolutely.
I love it. Are you introverted or extroverted? I'm curious. I'm naturally
introverted. So my battery goes full in the morning and then it gets depleted by the end of the day. And if you actually spend time with me one-on-one, I don't like to talk. But if you put me on a stage, I can't shut up. I'm just kind of one of those guys.
I love it. I was just curious because I kind of got that vibe from you. I'm the same as well. And, so often in this channel, people think that you have to be like an extroverted, outgoing all the time people person. And sometimes you got natural introverts that are out there crushing it like yourself. Any tips you would give to the introverts out there, having lived through the ups and downs, right? Having, gone to the levels that you're at right now, knowing that sometimes, being around people, even though it's what you love and it's what makes an impact, can drain you. Any tips you've learned as an introvert you would give to fellow introverts out there as it relates to this business?
Absolutely. When I first got into the sales organization, coaching organization, I would walk into a conference room. I would sit right in the very, very back corner by myself. I was so shy. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I knew that if I opened my mouth, I would sound stupid, right? Being shy and introverted. But here's the thing. Once you keep attending, once you keep doing your job, once you keep practicing, right? Once you have some results, you'll start to have confidence. Again, the strength of a real estate salesperson or any salesperson is based on their attitude and confidence. Now you can work on your attitude and confidence by working on your skills and your mindset. So once you work on your skills and mindset year after year after year after year after year, then you can present, then you can become confident. You still be introverted, but you will be confident and competent, most importantly, in your job.